Welcome to Dove Cottage. It's the 30th of April, it's Museum from Home Day, and to mark the moment I'm taking my tea break in Dove Cottage itself, the home of William and Dorothy Wordsworth, 1709 to 1808, and taking tea was such an important part of their lives when they lived here. It's a very appropriate thing to do. It's an overcast kind of day. We're missing the sunshine of the last few weeks, so we've got a candle or two in the house. And other things that are round and about, perhaps what they might have had on their table too. So everything you see, by the way, is a facsimile. So that includes the waistcoat I'm wearing, which is modelled on Wordsworth's own waistcoat. But we've also got a facsimile of Dorothy's journal. So that's what the notebook looked like in 1802. We've got a facsimile of a typical notebook that William himself would have used for his poetry drafts. Clearly there would have been quills and ink round and about the house, and letters too. They received often several letters a day, wrote several letters in return, so letter writing was a key part of the house. The tea itself, well, we have Dorothy's journals. The notebooks have survived for just over 2 of the years here. And she mentioned drinking tea 72 times in the course of it. The tea that they used, we think, probably came from Mr. Twining. So Mr. Twining visited in August 1800. We've done our best in lockdown times. All we could find in the house was a breakfast tea. His tea bags, unfortunately, and it's decaffeinated, so probably not something that would have troubled them too much, but that's the best we can do. So we've got a nice cup of tea in a 1790s style cup without the handle. And then to go with our tea, some ginger snaps. So the Wordsworths are great home bakers, and we know from the recipe book of William's sister-in-law, Joanna Hutchinson, that they would make gingerbread and ginger snaps. So we invited Grasmere WI to see if any of their members would like to make some snaps from Joanna's recipes, and they did. Nicole came up trumps, and let's try one. But I have to say, they look lovely. They're just like a gingery colour. I think as well as ginger, it's got black treacle and sugar in it. I'm told by Nicole that a little less time in the oven than the recipe recommends might be a good idea. There's a sort of lovely snap to them. Obviously one has to dunk it in the tea. Let's just try. Well, that's just fantastic. That's just fantastic. So if you'd like to try them, just drop us an email and we'll send you the recipe. But they're absolutely delicious. So thank you, Nicole. Thank you, Grasmere WI, very much. I just have to chew my biscuit. So the Wordsworth drinking tea was a social occasion. Of course it is, just like today. Dorothy often mentions guests coming, the Reverend Simpson coming, drinking tea, playing cards. But Wordsworth, in one of his poems written at Dove Cottage, tells us that he's equally at home by himself by the fire, and he tells us that he's got very little time for some local chit-chat, local gossip, and preferring instead to sit by the fire with a book. So it's a poem which mentions this particular fireplace. It's called Personal Talk, and just 1 or 2 extracts. I am not one who much or oft delight to season my fireside with personal talk about friends who live within an easy walk, or neighbours daily, weekly in my sight. And then he goes on, better than such discourse doth silence long, long, barren silence square with my desire, to sit without emotion, hope, or aim, by my half kitchen, my half parlour fire, and listen to the flapping of the flame, or kettle, whispering its faint undersong. Then he talked about his reading. Dreams, books, are each a world, and books, we know, are a substantial world, pure and good. Round these with tendrils strong as flesh and blood, our pastime and our happiness will grow. There do I find a never-failing store of personal themes, and such as I love best. Matter wherein right voluble I am. Two will I mention, dearer than the rest, the gentle lady married to the moor, and heavenly Una with her milk-white lamb. So referring there first to Shakespeare and then to Spenser. And then the poem ends with his own thoughts about himself as a poet and his hopes for his life as a poet. Blessings be with them and eternal praise, who gave us nobler loves and nobler cares, the poets, who on earth have made us heirs of truth and pure delight by heavenly lays. Oh, might my name be numbered among them, then gladly would I end my mortal days. So Wordsworth hoping that one day he too might be counted as one of the great poets. So, well, the fact that we just celebrated Wordsworth's 250th birthday in the same month of April 2020 rather shows that his hopes as a poet